Hello, welcome back to another video on CHA's YouTube channel where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. And y'all catch me in the middle of a practice run. Okay, now, yes, our channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, the two fundamental components in the spiritual battle for the mind in the mind. And let me tell y'all, okay, that we come to learn this about narcissists. So the same thing applies to narcissistic parent. It's just the types of string attached may be a little different, okay? So narcissistic parents will give gifts with string attached. Not demonic spirit, string attached. So you got to think about the narcissistic parent giving you gifts. Okay? Part of that is love bombing. Okay, so you have to remember that too, that like with all narcissists, when they give gifts, it is one of their ways of love bombing. And narcissistic parents do this to their children. And it is taught on the societal level to do that. Why do you think you have all these pagan holidays? Why do you think you have birthdays? Because that gives narcissists the opportunity, okay, if they want to, but narcissistic parents always will, if they have been known to do that, if it's very habitual with them. Narcissistic parents, this is why I wanted to hone in on this, because like not every narcissist is going to give us a gift on the birthday, right? But a narcissistic parent, yes, whether it be a gift card or whatever. And so, exactly, and for all the holidays and stuff, they always wanted to make sure that we got a gift. I would say probably for many of us, it was up to a certain age regarding some of the holidays. But I know even up to the very last pagan holiday that I celebrated, before I knew that it was a pagan holiday, the Jezebel that gave birth to me, and I mean, I was, 38 at the time still. I was in the awakening, but I didn't know it yet. So maybe 38, somewhere around there, before I learned about all of these truths that we're still uncovering in the spiritual awakening. Yeah, okay. She still went out of the way with stocking stuffers. And a lot of the time, because I'm in college, so naturally she'd give me like post-it notes and things I needed for homework and stuff, which is fine. But still, it's not given to us without strings attached. So they expect a gift in return. That's the string that's attached. And that would be very similar to perhaps some other narcissist, okay, that may not be your narcissistic parent, but narcissistic parents will always expect something in return for a gift. And usually they want it to be a materialistic item. Yeah. Whereas other narcissists who, and that can apply to them as well, but the difference in some cases with narcissists giving gifts, expecting something in return, because they do. It could be, you name it, okay? It could be in the form of, yeah, I know, certain favors and things like that. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, that that's that. But narcissistic parents, however, generally speaking, they give gifts with strings attached. And so what happens when we get away, or the narcissistic parents pass away, so when the Jezebel that gave birth to me passed away and I left, okay, I had to move out of that house, glory be to God, and I wanted to anyway. I certainly did not want to be roommates with the step Jezzy. No, not at all. And so one of the first things I did, even though we were in a slightly, I don't want to say delusional, I was running on my adrenaline after that physical assault, and naturally so. But I finally realized, whoa, okay. And we had to take a serious season of self-care off. And so now we're getting back to business as usual. Oh, yeah. Because we're not running on our adrenaline anymore. Glory be to God. Because that's not kosher. That's not good. That can be very, very dangerous in the long run. So with that being said, though, despite all of that, my level of awareness, it remained intact. And that's why I tell y'all that when you start gaining the mental acuity, meaning clarity and awareness, the heightened awareness, when you start getting that and God starts revealing, can't no devil or narcissist out here stop that. No matter what they try to do. Okay, no matter what. Once you are aware, it just continues. That's why I say it's upward on that spiritual ladder. That's the only way it can go. It's upward in God's reality. Okay, so you get that awareness. So I was still aware. And one of the first things I did was I got rid of everything that, it took a little time because I had to remember whether or not that includes earrings that she gave me. She didn't wear them anymore, so I could have them. All kinds of stuff, and even things from her mother. Okay, who was also a narcissist. And I said, oh my goodness. There was a set of dishes that the grand narcissist left me, because when I was a kid, I had made it a point to let them know I really liked that fine china. I left it behind. I didn't want it. It didn't take long for me to realize that, whoa, I'm not taking that with me. I don't want it. And when I say tainted, I'm just going to say that stuff is tainted because it came from a narcissist. It was not genuine. It is sad when you realize that. But all kinds of things, like the suitcase that she loaned me and then ended up giving me. She said that she went and got some new suitcases and gave me the old one. I got rid of it, and God got me a new one. All kinds of stuff. Now, minus the Post-it note and highlighters and things like that still serve a purpose for the ministry. We kept those things, but that's it. Any dishes, anything, clothing, anything that was gifted to me by her, gone. Got rid of it. And all photos, family photos and everything, shredded, gone. I do not have one single physical photo of any of them or myself. I've got the profile pics on the phone and stuff like that, but that's it. I have 0 pictures of them. I don't want them. And I don't, childhood pictures, why? That's living in the past. I don't need that. I have the memories that are necessary. God will bring back to my remembrance the things that I need to remember. So I'm not carrying around a bunch of physical photos. There's no reason. In fact, God says something about that. Yeah. Where it's pointless. I mean, I realize that now, that going through a photo album, reminiscing is living in the past. And Luke 9 verse 62 is very clear. You can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. We have our memories, chosen one, and that's all that matters. But narcissistic parents, they will give gifts. Now, if you all still have physical photos, that's between you and God, okay? I ain't judging nothing. That's God's job. I'm just letting y'all know that I don't, because I know that that's a trick of the devil to keep living in the past. If you've got an album and it's that, and you are sentimental with it, that's between you and God. Okay? Let me be clear here. I was just sharing with y'all. I know, I hear the fridge. It is what it is. Got a mind of its own, it seems. But, if you've got the pictures and things like that. Now, like if you've got kids, of course, okay, y'all got to learn these things. The kids are going to have to learn when they get older too. So, and yeah, it was just a couple years ago that at the time of this recording, just a couple years ago, that I was able to sit down and shred every physical photo that I had on me that I knew was not going to serve a purpose going forward, and could cause a momentary lapse of living in the past. And I wasn't going, no, we're not going to do that. I've got the memory that I need to go forward, lesson, okay, that we've learned, and that's all that matters. That's all we need to take with us. All right, y'all? So keep that in mind. But if you are hanging on to those, and that's between you and God, I do know that there is I don't know if it's a tradition, but there is a thing where they say, most importantly, we are supposed to get rid of photos of dead relatives, like in the physical. They're physically dead, they're gone, they passed away. We're supposed to get rid of those. I decided to go ahead and get rid of all of my modeling slides have been shredded, everything from years ago, because that's part of the past, and I don't need to go there. That's just my thing. But I do know that in the Christian world that we are supposed to, I don't know if it's a religious thing or what, but it makes sense to me, but we're not supposed to keep like heirlooms of, or anything from those who have passed away. Okay, so let's be clear here. If y'all know more about that, drop it in the comments below. But narcissistic parents, when they give gifts, so especially when they pass away, we really should get rid of them anyway. But I got rid of all mine because I knew the strings that were attached, and spiritual too. Remember, narcissistic parents want that soul tie. And so part of breaking that soul tie is getting rid of the stuff that they gifted us. It takes a little while, okay? I know it. And some things could break your heart because you thought that they gave it to you out of a good heart. But they didn't. They gave it to you out of habit. They gave it to you out of narcissistic thinking that they would get something back. And especially a gift. The list is long, but that's the thing with these narcissists, okay, you all? So be mindful. And God tells us not to accept gifts from evildoers. So we have to learn about that and be very mindful. So if you identify a narcissist out here and they try to offer you something, I don't care if it's a bottle of water, you've got to turn it down. That is our duty in the spiritual. You've got to turn it down because there's strings attached to that, spiritual or otherwise. So there you go. All right, that is it. Drop your additional insights in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. All right, we're iron sharpening iron here in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. For additional information, insight, and other great stuff, you can check out these videos right here. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, we'll show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.